Lifelong Chronicles, invitation to a wedding. We'd been invited to a wedding, and for some reason, the relative of the person getting married, the person that actually invited us to the wedding, his wife had to return home to the United Kingdom. As such, his wife had gone, but she had that streak of jealousy that some people talk about relating to some Filipinas. As such, she wasn't too happy about leaving her husband in Cebu while she returned home to work. Although it was only for a few days for the wedding and not actually a few months. With the wedding, it was already a complex affair because the guy actually getting married was related to our friend, but he had already been dating several women in the Philippines and hadn't bothered to tell the women that he was actually getting married, to the point he was still engaging in conversations, telling people he was in the UK, while in fact he was actually in Cebu. This became even more complicated when he had given his son's ring to a girl he had met in Cebu, and then was telling other people that, including his son, that this ring had been lost in my friend's house. So the son had approached my friend, asking where the ring was. My friend actually knew where it was. It was on this girl's finger in Cebu. So he called the girl while he was back and said, "Look, this wasn't his to give in the first place. Could you please return the ring so I can give it back to his son, or, give it back to the guy, so that his son stops bothering me." The girl was dating this, obviously the guy that's getting married, and she was saying how the guy was still texting her and telling her he's busy working in London, and talking as if he was actually there, but he was actually in Cebu at the time. So my friend was basically, "Oh, look, he's here, he's getting married, blah blah blah." He invited the girl to come up to his house to drop off the ring after work, because it's the most convenient for both of them. Also, the girl knew my friend's wife, knew the connection with the families. They were all friends. It was nothing untoward. When she arrived at the house to drop the ring off, my friend was sat out on the front patio. Nothing untoward. Not going in the house, making sure it's very public so that there is no misunderstandings. He invited the girl to stop for a coffee while she dropped off the ring, and just had a chat while she was sort of resting on the way back from work before she headed off home. At this point, my friend's mother-in-law turned up to see if the guy had any laundry, because they live nearby. And the next thing is my friend's getting phone calls from his wife asking, who is this woman in her house? Although nothing untoward had happened, the seed had now been planted by the mother-in-law. The wedding was, I believe, the following day, and what was amusing about this was my friend was telling his relative to come clean to the women he was still talking to, because it's not fair on who will become his new bride, as well as the women he was still engaging with. At which point he refused, but even to the point that he was wanting to search my friend's car to make sure that this girl with the ring wasn't anywhere in sight to actually interfere with the wedding. So in the end, the wedding went ahead, and it was a bit of a strange wedding. It's the first wedding I've actually been to where the reception was held in a restaurant with the metal trays for food. Um, it was a little bizarre in that, but hey ho, it was free food, and we took some photos for the wedding party. After that, though, the location we'd been down to Argo. If you haven't been there, it's a nice place to visit, and although the beach is quite warm with its stones, it's a nice refreshing spot to jump in and have a bit of a dip. We went onto the beach there. We've got a couple of nipper huts and spent the afternoon just partying there for the wedding reception. At which point my friend has sort of thought, oh, I've never been here before. And he then decided to bring his partner, sorry, not his partner, bring his wife's family down for the day out before he went back to the UK. This all transpired to something a little bit more complicated than just the problems with the ring, because he then invited the girl that had the ring as a bit of a sympathy thing to come with him. But it may sound that there's something strange going on here, but the reality was it wasn't just the parents of his wife, but also the parents of the woman, because they all know each other. It's more of a case of everybody's intertwined in the usual Philippine way where everybody knows everybody. There was nothing actually going on. So at the house the following day before they went to Argyle, the mother-in-law was asked if she wanted to sit in the passenger seat of the car while everybody's loading up, and the mother-in-law invited this other girl to sit there. This later on became another issue when the mother-in-law phoned her daughter and said that this woman had taken her place in the front of the van. And this all became a bigger and bigger issue. Did the guy have an affair in the end or not? I'm not going to discuss that, but I would say that the constant assumptions and tantrums from the wife could have driven the situation very easily. Returning to the UK later, his wife wanted a divorce and was saying how she would take him for their house in the UK, take him for the house in the Philippines, and would bleed him dry and pretty much make his life a misery. At which point he explained that her visa was up for renewal next month, and to cut a long story short, they're now happily married and have been for years, although I haven't been to a dinner party for some time.